All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome. Tonight we have Danny G. That's all I'm going to introduce him as. He's a friend. You've seen him here before. And we are talking about current events, politics, and basically whatever he might want to talk about tonight, as well as what might be pissing me off.
Okay.
And in our current political landscape, shall we say. So first of all, welcome. How are you?
I'm just absolutely freaking exhausted. My shoulders are killing me. My back hurts, and I'm all scratched up.
He's all
I told Kathy to put the whip down, but she
What's
knew
up,
I was
Saccone?
kidding.
So Saccone's here. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? So yeah, the one thing I ask is, my baby is watching. The one thing I ask is, please, if you're here, obviously tell us that you're here. Drop a comment. Like the video if you like it. What's up, Levi? Like the video if you like it, and share it out, please. That's the biggest deal, is share it out. That way the algorithm gets us out there. Yeah, it's. I noticed that I couldn't share it from Unapologetic Patriot either. And later on, I will be posting this on YouTube. So, and here's a funny thing. This is how I know that. This is how I know that YouTube can, Facebook can censor live. Look at this. You see that? That's closed captioning.
Okay.
And they're doing it live. They're taking my voice, your voice, and they're closed captioning live. So hang on, let me mute this real quick. But yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? They can sit there and censor anytime they want live. But anyway, yeah, please, if you guys
we're
are
on a
here,
list anyway. Who the hell cares?
I'm sure we're on several.
Wait till we start sending around those lovely boxes that you sent out, Marky. We'll be making sure that everybody has access to them personally.
So
intimately.
if you guys have a question, this guy right here is very, very plugged in to much more in depth, I should say, topics than me. I kind of look at the cursory, I take the cursory glance, the 30,000 foot glance of today's political settings, and I usually give you my opinions, my loud opinions on said things. But Danny here is much more plugged in to the deeper underpinnings, the underbelly of the garbage that goes on. And some of the shit you've been sending me, I'm just going.
The sources are out there, and the sources are available. They're available on YouTube.
What's up, Bobby?
Fellows like T.J. Morrison, who is also known as Bear Independent. David, I can't remember David's last name, Southern Prepper 1. He does boots on the ground reports every day, at least once a day. I sent one of mine to him. He hasn't read it yet, but it had to do with testing that I had done, or I had gone to the lab after I had seen my physician, and I asked them, hey, how's your medical supply stuff going on? And it's not good, folks. It's not pleasant at all. And it's okay. You may be able to go into IGA right now and Walmart, but there are areas around the country that are seriously sucking wind. There are, I don't know what Rex Medical, what kind of circumstances they're in. I don't know the situation on the EMTs coming out of Wake County, Cumberland County. I don't know what their fuel circumstances are. I don't know what the repair statuses are on their rigs, and that includes law enforcement as well. Where are they at as far as fuel consumption is concerned? I mean, they pay less in money than we do for parts, labor, gasoline, but they are at their supply is at the behest of those who know more than we do, who believe that we are merely plebes to be manipulated.
So is it one of those things where you're kind of worrying about the fact that they're going to run out of the essentials to get to us? I know that sounds like a really stupid question, but I'm trying to break it down for everybody that might not be following what you're talking about.
Just for the sake of argument, this belongs to my lovely wife. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
This is not mine. Although I love the colors. Oh my God, it's lovely. This is mine. It's unique. No one else has something. Yes, they do, but not this. I have another one. It's on my chest rig, but this is a Refuge Medical IFAC, and inside of it are things that are designed to address the March algorithm. The first one being massive bleeding. All right, I run chainsaws, I run tractors, I run post hole diggers. I mean, yeah. I sent Ted a video of one, and he said, "You're nuts at 68 years old and you're doing this shit." But in any event, inside here are items that are getting very difficult to find, only because the powers that be are taking the materials that go inside this thing for their own agencies. And quite honestly, I dare say that this little bag has more equipment in it, more capability of keeping blood in your body, assuming that you're human and that you have blood running through your veins, which allows you to disseminate oxygen throughout your body The idea is to keep the blood inside. This has chest seals in it. I fall down on a piece of rebar. And God willing, somebody's there to help me put the blowout patch on my back.
Yeah.
Do you know how to put it on? Do you know how to put a chest seal on? I have a clue. God forbid. Well, one report TJ had was guy's running a skid steer, and he got his hand pinned. And because you can open this one-handed, you grab this little red tab, and I'm not doing a commercial for TJ. There's a whole bunch of different individuals out there. I was going to say,
bring it into the camera.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
There's a whole bunch of different companies that make these. All the stuff that's in here is made in the United States. But one-handed, you can pull on this. I'm not going to because it's a pain in the ass to reload.
Yeah, they're a real pain in the ass
But
to get.
nonetheless, there's a tourniquet in here. A Cat 7. Not something made in China. There's Quick Clot. There's packing gauze. Please don't use a tampon on an open bullet hole or some kind of hole. What do tampons do? They absorb blood. They absorb moisture.
Yes, but
liquid.
they also get really, really big and close up the hole. So
I'll take my packing gauze any day of the week.
Yeah, if you don't have the packing gauze, a tampon will
Why
work.
the hell are you holding on to a tampon?
Hey, I've got one in my kit because I don't have one of those.
No way.
I'm serious.
You can get components from TJ.
Yeah, right. But I'm just saying, because I don't have a complete kit like that, what I consider to be, holy shit moments.
I'm gonna use this example later on when I get into what I warned Ted I was going to talk about. But nonetheless, stuff like this. When I went to get blood work done, right here in beautiful, scenic downtown Dunn, North Carolina. Oh no, excuse me, it was Irwin, which is even more scenic.
Oh, it's even better. That's where the meth heads dress up for you.
They dress up. Sweetie, you haven't seen me. Oh my God! But anyway, I've got a set of stilettos that would drive you absolutely insane.
Honey. Did you see what Christina said?
No.
She said, Danny, you could always squeeze the tampon and recoup the blood.
No. No.
Shit.
But in any event, squeeze me. When I went to get blood drawn, I asked the girls. I said, honestly, how you guys doing for supplies? And I hear this nationwide out of David at Southern Prepper 1. I'm glad I'm amusing you guys.
Hang on. She just had a tooth pulled, so she's laughing her ass off, and it hurts like hell.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I'm enlivening someone's evening. Anyhow, what are they short of? You would be absolutely freaking amazed. This one lab at LifeLink in Dunn does a large amount of individuals that are transplant patients. And these people often have blood drawn once a week. Get rid of the Tampax, use Kotex instead to staunch blood. Why, sure.
So it's funny that you're commenting and you're not moving.
Yeah,
That's
but it's
great.
not me.
Yeah,
it's my wife.
Yeah.
And we joke about it. She's my concubine. There's another woman there. Oh my God.
Look at this. Look at this. I just want to talk about his stamina real quick. He's 68 years old. He's been holding this damn thing up one-handed the whole time.
It weighs
hey,
as much.
Whoa, easy. You're going to get us banned off of Facebook.
As much as
a pew-pew.
A hand
a pew-pew. Calm down. Calm down.
But anyway.
Oh no, I feel unsafe.
What I'm saying.
I'm sorry.
That's what he said.
I feel so unsafe.
What they're missing, given the fact that you've got transplant patients that are getting blood drawn once a week, those veins get smaller. So you have to go to a smaller gauge needle, butterfly needle, to be able to draw. Me, I get blood drawn maybe once a year if I'm lucky. Or I'm outside stringing barbed wire. But my point is, they can't get small gauge butterfly needles now. It's getting more and more difficult to find. surgical tubes, flexible plastic tubes, where you're going to draw blood or you're going to put an IV in or something like that. They're coming up now with suppliers that are literally sending them inferior goods. They're leakers. They'll get a box of gloves, and consecutively they will literally have to get rid of a third of the box, because understand, those boxes of gloves come in a larger case. Mm. They open them with one of these, okay? And they don't give a shit. The people that are opening those boxes that are responsible for warehousing, shipping, opening, they don't care. They don't care. The people that did care are no longer working for one reason or another, and it's usually because, golly gosh gee whiz.
Maybe their shoulder hurts from
twice, and then they get in that booster seat like 3 or 4 times. But in any event,
listen.
But some of them like booster seats.
Don't forget that quadruple boosted, double vaxxed first lady, who's also a doctor, sort of.
A doctor of what? She's a doctor of education.
She calls herself a doctor.
Oh, please.
So we're supposed to respect the fact
I'm
that
not
she
in college
identifies as
anymore.
one. But anyway, don't forget that triple boosted, quadruple boosted. Dr. Jill Biden just tested positive for. Stop it. Just tested positive for COVID. And by the way, I just want to say hi to Rebecca, hi to Holly, and hi to Margaret, and I guess hi to Katie. It's not Kathy.
It's Katie. No, Katie and Kathy are together.
Right, I figured that one out. But I'm just saying, Katie said she was typing on your account. So hello to all of you, and I thank you all for being here. And all right, so Danny.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, you paint a pretty grim picture, which I understand that it is grim. But is there an upside? Is there an upshot to all of this? Like, is there?
You want a white pill?
Well, no, I don't want a white pill. Is there an upshot to any of this? What can John Q. Citizen or Jane Q. Citizen do in your mind? And I'm not talking about great detail, okay? Yeah. Not great detail, but like simple stuff. John Q., Jane Q. Citizen. What can they do today to sort of lessen the blow of tomorrow that you see coming?
All right. What I see coming is already here.
What's up, Barbara?
It's already here. Understand something, and understand it very well. Number one, we are going through a grand solar minimum sequence and CO2 is plant food, just in case anybody's interested. Honest to Christ. We're going through a grand solar minimum, and because of that, we're going to start seeing some very strange weather. We're seeing it now. We're seeing a 500-year drought.
Oh, but that's just global warming.
Principally and primarily, please.
Sorry.
Please.
I'm sorry, I had to.
Usually when they touch me like that, you kiss me too. But in any event,
whoops.
I'm
sorry.
We're going to compound this problem globally with someone who's decided, gee whiz, we don't need petrochemicals. We don't need lubricants. And I'm talking about for machines, okay? Unless you've got your favorite dollar robot.
So in other words, he's talking about oils, greases, stuff like that.
It's not just fuel, folks. They're in Germany. They've already begun to start programs specifically so that people can burn wood. Oh my God, there's going to be ash in the air. I'm not talking about your ash or my ash. It's everybody's ash.
We're talking global level.
Yeah, we're talking about
recession.
Or
even depression.
We're slowly eking towards a depression. We're already in a recession, whether you like it or not.
No, I know we are, but according to the government, we're not.
I don't give a flying rat's ass what the government says. And quite honestly, people, if you're paying attention to what the government's telling you, take it with a grain of salt. Not that you can do anything about it. Believe me, you can't. But on an individual scale, When was the last time you put back food? Like to supply you for a year? When was the last time you learned how to can? Thank you, my dear. Both of you, Katie and Kathy. Literally, how independent are you? How independent are you from the system? Because if you don't understand that the system doesn't give two shits in a tinker's damn about you, I'm here to tell you, you're on your own, and there's nobody coming to help. There are no 7th Cavalry coming over the horizon. As far as I'm concerned, and this is me, and I preface this by saying to Ted, I gave him a thought. I said, here's where we're going. Here's where I'm going with this. The mouth of the American Patriot Movement, the mouth, is writing checks. The Patriot Movement's body cannot cash, at least now. People talk about, well, gee, we're preppers, or we're this, or we're that. Trust me, folks, I ain't even close. I'm just beginning. I've got 11 acres that I'm going to try and get to the point where I got a shot. And quite honestly, and some people are saying, well, gee, I'm going to Danny and Kathy's house. I got news for you, folks. There are specific individuals that will be there. Some of them I'm not really crazy about being there. But I really have no choice in the matter.
Well, damn, that's harsh.
You don't work, you don't eat. And when I talk about work, I'm not talking about, oh, let's play on the computer. I'm in IT. Really? You have low T is what your problem is. Yeah. I'm 68 years old, folks. I put 410 pounds of concrete in one hole with a 6x6 post, 10 feet long, and 370 pounds in the other hole. I now have a hinge side and a hasp side for a 14-foot gate that is stretched across my driveway. On the sides of that gate, you will find anywhere between 8 and 10 strands of barbed wire. Good luck. I know that it is not impenetrable, but I know damn well with the cameras, I'll slow you down.
So, everybody that's watching, give me an idea without specifics. Give me an idea of what you're doing to become more independent, because I think that was the big takeaway from all of that, is to become more independent, to get off the system, to stop being reliant on the government or the system as a whole, for your health care, your food, your your well-being. Mm-hmm. So what are you doing? I know I'm grossly behind the curve on this.
You're 99% of the population, pal.
Right. But I mean, I'm grossly behind the curve on this. So everybody in the comment section, what are you doing? The comment section. What are you guys doing to, and again, you don't have to go into specifics. I don't need to know how many guns you have, if you have guns, how much ammo. I'm not talking about that. Guns, by the way, are just a part of the solution, and they're more security than anything else. There are people out there, that believe that you'll be going on raiding parties and it'll be Mad Max or something like that. That's probably not going to happen until the society probably completely collapses, and by then, it's going to be a complete shit show anyway. But as far as the in the interim, while things are collapsing, what to do then? And like Danny was saying, becoming more independent is definitely the first step. So
how?
Like Katie just turned around and said, growing a garden, raising chickens, making your own medicine.
That's right.
That's all really good. Putting back food, putting back medical supplies. It's funny that you bring up low T, because obviously I've told you I have low T, or at least low-ish T.
Okay.
So if I do wind up getting on TRT, my body will no longer have the ability of making testosterone on its own. It's going to be chemical only.
Make sure that. How long do you plan on surviving?
Well, that's the thing, right? So if I get on TRT, for the time that I can get my testosterone from doctors or whatever, my what is it? Not cost of living, value of living. My what the hell did I call it?
Life.
My quality of life. Thank you. My quality of life will be so much higher. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll feel like I'm in my 20s again. And with
You
that,
mean you're not?
with that,
I am.
With that, I can sit there and use that energy to do the things that we're talking about and feel good about it. Because one of my biggest problems is motivation. I have zero motivation to do much of anything, and that comes from low T, or at least it helps the problem.
Okay.
Exacerbates it. I think that's the word.
All right.
But anyway, so. But once I get on TRT, then I'm completely reliant on having. It's like a diabetic with insulin. You're completely reliant on that chemical in order to continue to function. Because once I'm on that chemical, I basically shut down my body's natural reaction to make testosterone. So, do I trade the short term or midterm for the long term? I guess,
are you asking me for advice?
Well, I guess that's the biggest.
What I would do.
I guess that's the biggest question, right? Because short term, midterm, whatever. Let me read some of these really quick. But short term to midterm, my quality of life will be 10 times better, right?
Yeah.
So do I sacrifice that for what you can't see, but what we're all pretty certain is coming, but what we can't see? So hold that thought. So we got.
I just saw Holly.
We got growing a garden, raising chickens, making our own medicine. Holly says food prep, emergency cans, stocking up on meds, learning canning, and what you can eat from the wild. So I'm assuming berries, meats.
Holly, where do you live?
Pennsylvania.
Okay. Are you on like 40 to 100 acres?
Nope.
Holly, do you know how long the eating from the wild is going to last? I mean, I lived in Pennsylvania. I lived near Elk. I was on Elk Mountain for a year, just north of Scranton. I started out in Dixon City, but that being said, honestly, sweetie, I hope that you find all the whitetail you possibly can, rabbits, squirrels, because you're not going to be the only one out there.
Yeah.
I want everybody to understand something that. I and other individuals live by the rule of threes. All right? What are the rule of threes? Very simple. 3 is 2, 2 is 1, 1 is none. Or you can live without oxygen for 3 minutes. You can live without water for 3 days. You can live without food for 3 weeks. Okay? Now, the rule of threes as far as my equipment is concerned, and what I do is food, water, shelter, clothing, medical, tools, means of defense, and currency. All right? Now, you can look at currency in many different ways. This is currency, okay? That's currency.
I was going to say, that's the camera right there. So
that's currency. A bottle of booze is currency. An ounce of meth is currency.
No, we do not condone having an ounce of meth in your house.
There's a lot of people that think that way. There's some very interesting individuals that are bringing material across our border, which is just, I'm going to make an ancillary comment, that are bringing across what's called rainbow fentanyl. Looks like Pez. Looks like children's chewable vitamins. Looks like gummy bears. No, there's no problem with shit coming across the border. Our borders are closed. That's beside the point. The fact still remains, and I'll give you an aside as far as meds are concerned. Christina just had a tooth pulled. Now, my dental hygiene has gone to shit in the handbasket, and don't ask me why. But nonetheless, you get an infection. I've got all sorts of scrapes and bumps and bruises and cuts and all sorts of stuff on my arm.
Yeah, the cameras really can't pick it up, but he's cut up pretty good.
It's from the briar patch. Me and Brer Rabbit was chasing the fox through there. Yeah. But anyway, God forbid you get an infection. All of our medication is made not in this country. None. Not a bloody thing.
So learning how to make your own medicine is
what I suggest
key.
to individuals right now. There's a company out of Canada called PACE, P period, A period, C period, E period. For about $300, you have a full complement of antibiotics for one person. And you go on their website, and it does exist, but it's $300. All right, there's meds right there. Now, fortunately, I have a witchy woman by the name of Katie that lived in Alaska with her first husband, who was an incredible man, who had a hunting lodge. Katie was thoroughly, completely, and unequivocally self-sufficient. That means no source of outside power, no source of outside supplies other than when they had a supply vehicle like an airplane or something like that, where outside hunters would come in and Liam would take them out. But other than that, Katie birthed her own kids. All right? The woman knows how to do stuff, knows what to look for. I was looking to supplement or to supplement my perimeter security with literally transplanting wild briar, which vines. It's incredible. It crawls up into the trees. It's amazing. I love it. And she knows of plants that within a matter of minutes, you have boils on your skin. And you can grow it here in North Carolina. It doesn't stop them. I have no illusions. If for some strange reason the IRS decides, gee, Dan, you haven't paid your taxes in 12, or you haven't filed in 12 years. You've been giving us withholding all that time. We really do appreciate it. And more than likely, you've got some kind of refund coming back. But because you didn't follow the rules that were brought down in 1913 by a gentleman by the name of Woodrow Wilson and a group of people that nobody knew. They're not J.P. Morgan Chase or J.P. Morgan. Nobody. But Jekyll Island, a club of individuals showed up and said, we're going to start a central bank. We tried that once before. In fact, Hamilton was one of the ones that wanted to have one. Damn 25-year-old had his head up his ass. Anyhow, I know it's not going to stop the IRS. I know it's not going to stop the sheriff's department. Quite honestly, the sheriff knows who I am. He does not like me. He does not like me.
Well, you also live in an area where the sheriff is a corrupt piece of shit. So,
show me a sheriff. Show me one sheriff out of North Carolina, and I'm going to challenge you on this one, Ted. Show me one sheriff in North Carolina that stood up and said, "Wait a minute. A mandate is not a law. Wait a minute. Does anybody know what presidential records actually how they're actually defined? What is NARA? The National Archives Registration
basically
Agency.
a federal library.
And it's headed up by an acting woman that didn't really like Donald.
Hates Trump, yes. Yes.
And it was obvious in a news conference. Or an awards. It was actually an award ceremony.
Yes, when he sat there and gave her a thank you.
It's a lovely library. You got lots of books.
And lots of archives.
Wait a minute. 10 years ago, Judicial Watch, and this seems to escape people. I can't figure it out. The president is the last person you question upon his exit from the presidency to tell him, wait a minute, that's classified, put that down. No. The president, constitutionally, has the ability to declassify anything that is compartmentalized, that is anything. 10 years ago, Judicial Watch decided to challenge that because they didn't like Bill Clinton, like a lot of people don't. I'm not crazy about the guy either. But nonetheless, court precedent was established 10 years ago. And what the judge ultimately found was he can do anything he wants with that. When Mr. Obama, Barry Sartoro, and Big Mike left the White House, lovely people, wonderful people, wonderful. They're good and decent people. Left the White House. He took 55 million pages of documents. Promised, I promise, pinky promise, I'm going to give them back in 5 years, and they'll be digitized. Not one single sheet of paper. What seems to be the problem? Where's the damn local sheriffs in North Carolina that didn't get in a fucking squad car and go up there and say, you can't do this. It's not constitutional. Ladies and gentlemen, I will propose to you that you look and you verify exactly what I'm telling you. The sheriff is the only sworn law enforcement officer that's elected. Other than the president. Other than the president. And don't give me the shit where Merrick Garland or anybody else that's a cabinet member or an agency appointee, they're not elected. They're selected.
They're appointed, yeah.
They are selected.
And you guys thought
your sheriffs are the ones that are sworn on the Constitution to be the only elected official sworn as a law enforcement officer to uphold constitutional law. Period. End of story. Richard Mack, Sheriff Mack, was from Maricopa. He was a sheriff of Maricopa County, followed by I can't remember his name now.
What,
God, I hate getting old.
Guy?
Huh?
The
Yeah.
Pink Panty guy? I can't remember him either.
In any event.
Hey, guys, by the way, if you can hear my 2.5-year-old demon child going crazy, sorry about that, but she's 2.5 and she's a demon child, so it is what it is.
I belong to Sheriff Mack's Constitutional Peace Officers and Sheriffs Association as an associate. I am not ex-military. I am not a Leo. I am not a retired Leo.
Joe.
Thank you. Thanks, Irish. I knew you were good for something. Sorry, dude. That's the whole guy's got to stick together.
Listen, yeah, well, finish up your point.
Anyway,
I want to.
What I'm saying to you is that what you're seeing is a dog and pony show, and quite honestly, it doesn't affect me in the least. I have an area of operation that at most is 5 miles in diameter with my home in the center. That's all I can conceivably fantasize being able to control.
Right.
Realistically, half mile at that. And I know for a fact that there are individuals that live on my road, because I hear the ammo going off. There are like-minded individuals, but where I'm at, they're old school Southern people, and they're very provincial. They're very private. I'm not a family member. I don't sound like them either. I may look like them, but I don't sound like them. They're very suspicious. Believe me, I've been working up front in driveway, and there's people going by, and they'll see Kathy's SUV parked out on the right of way. They'll see my tractor parked in the middle of the driveway, and they'll slow down and they'll look. I'll wave. They don't wave back because they don't know. And they're just as suspicious as anybody else is, and they should be. But I've mentioned the rule of threes. I've mentioned not just Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There's other things in there as well. Medical being one of them. This guy is going on a pharmaceutical regimen that's literally going to destroy his capability of being able to properly sustain naturally testosterone levels. That doesn't just include being able to become excited. It has to do with how your heart runs, your brain, all of your internal organs, how you're capable of reproducing red blood cells.
Yeah, well, hang on. Let's talk about that in just a second. So Barbara says she's putting food away. She's doubled her garden, ability to make deer jerky.
Okay.
Good. Iris says not near enough to survive. I don't think anyone really is. There's way too much stuff needed to survive. Food, water, meds, sustainable stock.
That's okay.
So then they said, hi, Joel. I guess Joel is here. She also has water reclamation for processing and cleaning, and barter stock, which is what you were talking about, whiskeys and whatever the barter is. Holly was asking me, is that when we start calling you Teresa, when I stop producing testosterone? And
Cute.
Then Joel turned around and says, just gotta love Danny's facial reactions. The boss says, leave your beard alone. And here you are stroking your beard again.
I love it.
Holly says, we have
nice
mountains
and
and
soft right
state
now,
game
too.
lands around us that lead right into Indiantown Gap.
Okay. I know exactly where that is.
Yeah, I know where she is too, but I wasn't going to give it away. Jeff says, oorah. All right. So
Thanks, Jeff, for the shirt.
So everybody who thought I could rant, we just listened to a 35-minute long rant from this guy. No, that's fine. He's one of the most intelligent guys I know. Actually, he probably is the most intelligent guy I know. But when he gets going, he gets going. So let me talk to you about my situation, because you've touched on that a couple of times. Mm-hmm. So the plain fact is that what I have, which for everybody that's listening, I don't give a shit. I'll tell everybody. I don't care. I have fatty liver disease. And no, I'm not an alcoholic. So it's non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. My liver is enlarged. My enzymes are through the roof. My triglycerides, my bad cholesterol, all of that shit is through the roof. My good cholesterol is low, so that's also bad. And to top it all off, I'm at the very, very bottom of the quote unquote normal testosterone levels for a man my age. The bottom being 300, top being about 1,000 for a man that's 43 years old, which I am. I'm at 330. So basically, I'm on the basement. Now, and I'm about 50 pounds overweight. So add all of that up together, pre-diabetic, my A1C's at just about a 7. It's like 6.8, 6.9, something like that. My sugar is high, all of that shit. Okay. And I have all the tests to prove it. So with all of that being said, most of those symptoms could potentially be, and probably will be, affected positively by getting my testosterone level higher. Okay? Much higher. So like I'm shooting for 700 to 750, which doubles what I have and still leaves me well within the normal. Like I'm not trying to do steroids or anything like that. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be super physiological. So 1,000 is considered the top end of normal for a guy my age. So 750, I'll feel a whole lot better. It will help me lose weight. It will help my liver lose the fatty cells. It could quite possibly bring down my blood sugar because, again, through aromatization and et cetera, I'm keeping insulin in my system and I'm becoming insulin resistant. Higher testosterone levels actually combat all of those things. So just by getting on TRT, and again, I haven't gotten on it yet. I have to find a doctor that's willing to do it. But just by getting on TRT and let's say getting to the levels that I want to get, there's a high probability that I start reversing all the symptoms that I have now. And I prolong my effectiveness now. Because if I don't, then it just gets worse and it compounds and it compounds and it compounds and it compounds. Now, sure, I'm sure that, well, I'm not going to say I'm sure that you would, because you're not usually one to jump to conclusions. But I'm sure that there are some people out there that will sit there and say, well, just hop on a diet, exercise more, eat better foods. I've tried all of that. And yes, I know you don't know me, so you don't know that. But I've tried keto. I've tried ketovore. I've tried Lion Diet. I've tried Yeah, see, like, no offense, but like stuff like that. Get colloidal silver, eat more of this, eat more of that. No, I understand that, but, and don't get me wrong, all of the comments are helpful, but the point is through all of the research that I've done, colloidal silver isn't going to affect me. Like, I'm not saying affect me. It will have an effect, I'm sure, but like, eating more, ginger, I've heard of that. Taking ACV, that's apple cider vinegar. All kinds of different things. I've tried it. Now colloidal silver I haven't, but I've tried ginger. I've tried turmeric. Huh?
You take a shot at that.
Yeah. I've tried turmeric. I've tried tons of different things. Okay. And none of them seem to work. I've gone to a chiropractor. He searched me over, and I mean, I'm not bragging here, but like, if you touch me anywhere except for my belly, it's fucking rock solid. Like, I'm strong. I'm tight, right? But the whole thing is around my belly, I'm holding all of this extra fat, and that's what's affecting my liver and affecting all of my organs, et cetera, et cetera. So in my situation, what I was getting at is, I understand the long term of what you're saying, the potential long term. And by the way, it's going to crash my testosterone, my natural testosterone production for a period of time, which really, right. It could be 1 month, it could be 3 months, it could be a year.
Okay.
Somebody like, now, if this collapse of society doesn't come for 10 to 15 years, it could be permanent. Okay, at that point, like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm on it for the next 10 to 15 years, then yeah, it's probably permanent. My body said, well, there's no more need to produce anything, period, and I won't be able to recover. Larry Wheels actually just did a video on that, and he's been taking steroids, etc., for 10 years plus, and he's been doing it since he was 17, 18 years old, okay. And now his body literally does not have the function to produce testosterone on its own at all. So every time he comes off a cycle and does like a post-cycle therapy and all that, he cannot recover. So he has to go back on cycle just to feel normal, of just testosterone. But he has to go back on just to feel normal.
I don't have an answer for you.
Right? No, and that's what I'm getting at is that I'm looking at it as the short to midterm. So I guess I would say the interim. In the interim, I'll shut up. I'm not. In the interim,
no, Katie, don't shut up.
In the interim, getting on TRT would substantially benefit my life. But
okay,
but if this,
you better have access to it for a minimum.
That's the point. If the collapse of society happens, where I'm going to, not be able to get it medically, then it's going to be something that potentially could crash me for a certain period of time.
Let me accelerate your decision, whatever it may be. We stopped adding food and fuel to the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, and measure of recession in 1977, I think. But with that included, and we're looking at the same propaganda, and I'm going to get to this, okay? We're looking at the same propaganda that Europe is looking at as well, specifically in the UK. They're getting spoon-fed medium worm diarrhea on a regular basis when it comes to what the British pound is actually, how recession is affecting it. Flashbang and Headboard Harris, Bob Marley. They said that there's no more recession, there's no more inflation. And I sat there and I went, huh? I only spent like 9, almost 10 years on Wall Street, and I can't figure out where they're getting their numbers from. But that being said, what they're telling us is we're going to crash your economy. We're going to crash your economy. We're being told it's 8.1, it's 8.9, it's 9.2. Folks, you're pushing 20. When somebody says the consumer price index is up 8.2%, are they talking about from last month, year on year, the last quarter? What are you talking about? And everybody looks at CPI. Well, I don't give a shit about what the consumer price index is. I want to know what the producer price index is, because that's what I'm going to look at to buy in 3 months. And they're not in business to make me smile. They're in business to make money. Their stockholders smile. They're entitled to a profit. Oh, no, you can't say that. Oh, yes, I can. Because without a profit, what's going to happen? Gee whiz. Welcome to the end of Weimar Germany. We're going to suck up all the industry, and the government's going to run it. And we will run it very well. We will, yeah.
Well,
what I'm saying to you, Ted, is this is not going to dissipate in a year. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
There's too much damage, and believe me, there is. We do not have there's no pipeline. And even if there was a pipeline, there's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. And you can talk to me about Russia's got the world by the balls as far as petrochemicals are concerned. It's a fact. Like it or not, boys and girls, it's the truth.
Well, isn't it only a fact because of the fact that we shut off our own production? I mean, in large parts, we did.
I was going to go there, and you beat me to it.
Well,
but
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry,
You're
but I mean,
good.
because
it means you're thinking.
To me,
but what I'm saying is, it's not. This is not going to change overnight.
Okay, but what I'm getting at is a lot of it could theoretically. Okay, well, no, theoretically, just listen, hear me out. So, well, okay, we get somebody like Trump. I'm not saying Trump, but we get somebody like Trump back in office that opens up our production as America first, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. We get the fact that we're energy independence back rolling.
Yeah.
Okay, we start restocking our strategic supply, which is being destroyed.
What are you going to eat?
Well, that's what I'm getting at. We were that never actually changed under Trump. We weren't actually producing more food. We were producing a lot more petro. Well, you talk about bartering.
The amount of money that we had, or the amount of food that we had a surplus. Remember, Donald negotiated with the Chinese.
That's true.
To sell a lot of our agricultural goods
to
China. And by the way, just in case you're interested, 75%, and this is according to it's the UN. China actually owns 75% of all surplus grain on the globe.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not they can afford to distribute it to their people, that's another thing entirely, because they are facing one of the biggest real estate bubbles of all time.
Right. Well, is it still true that when the United States gets, sneezes, the rest of the world gets a cold? Is it still true that happens?
And when the world gets a cold, we start out with just the sniffles.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe we have enough resilience to be able to consider ourselves lucky that we're not going to have the severity in the United States that they're going to have in Europe. And believe me, Europe's going to get pounded. They're going to get pounded as far as being able to sustain themselves with heat, with food, with transportation, with just about anything. Me, I live on an 11-acre homestead in beautiful scenic Cumberland County. And we have a well. We have a septic system. I don't know how many of you folks are in city water. Where do you think the chemicals are that process your city water?
What do you mean? Where they come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, from.
They're not coming
countries.
from here.
Well, I mean, in this day and age, most people drink bottled water anyway.
Coca-Cola. Yeah, but where do you think that comes from?
Bottled water?
Bottled water.
Well, I mean,
has
if it's Fiji water, it's actually from 2 people in a bathtub. But
yeah, but it's sterile. You peed.
I'm not even. Was it a Fiji or no? I
have no idea.
It was one of them that considered.
You're watching TikTok too much.
No. I don't even bother watching TikTok. But in any case, no. Okay, look, you're really doom and gloom tonight. Like, I invited you over here for information, but Jesus Christ, you know, you're.
Do you want me to lie?
No, I don't want you to lie. But holy crap, can we?
Remember the phrase that I said?
Yes,
that I read to you?
Yes.
All right. I have heard, and Irish, you can bear me out on this, I think. I remember a conversation.
They turn on a faucet.
What?
No, before you get started on your next rant.
They turn on a faucet.
So Katie turned around and said, get the TRT, do it, but don't stop the holistic side of help. I agree. And my wife, by the way, I'm sure my wife would love to talk to you. She is very, very into holistic and trying to learn to basically get me and her off of big pharma. Okay. But the TRT I don't know of another way to get that much testosterone into my body that quickly to try to reverse these symptoms that I do have. Okay. So I don't think there is a holistic way to just turn it around like that, but it doesn't mean that I'll change. And I appreciate that. You can relieve a lot of your illness by doing CS and grinder tea or ginger teas, excuse me. There are people, I can read, I promise. There are people who are going to need alternative to diabetes meds, etc. You have to stick with the overall health plan. You come up to help heal yourself. And Alaska has a lot of oil, just saying. Yeah, no, absolutely. I really do believe that the key to turning around this global recession is through America getting healthy again, meaning our oil production being on top again, meaning getting China and North Korea and Russia back in line. Well, yeah, okay. You can laugh. Well, you can laugh all you want, but this, you know, you know me. We've had conversations. I am not one of those guys that worships at fucking Trump's feet or anything like that. But you know damn well that when he was in office, Putin didn't fuck with us. China didn't fuck with us. North Korea didn't fuck with us. It didn't happen.
For 4 years.
Right. I said while he was in office.
He can't be there forever.
No, but if he can do a better job, which I doubt he can, but if he can do a better job of stop being a narcissist and getting that message across that, look, it's not me. It's just the policies of putting America first. Maybe we can wake up more people. And maybe. Well, if we can
I can't eat a barrel of crude.
No, but if.
And where does 80% of the fertilizer come from?
If America gets healthy again, then we won't be in this global recession. And maybe we can start putting the brakes on what's coming. I mean, you have to admit that this global recession and quote unquote depression that we're heading into really got moving once Biden got into office.
Sure.
It wasn't like it was looming over the horizon when Trump was in office. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that America was quote unquote not financially like holy shit, but we were a lot healthier than we are now.
Perception is reality.
Right. Yeah.
They looked at how much money we had spent on the military, by the way, that wasn't openly having gay weddings God, at West Point.
Yes. No, I know.
Okay?
I know.
That's the first thing. And trust me, there are individuals in the Kremlin and in China,
you're right, Irish.
Beijing,
We got to get the federal government out of a lot of our lives. If we can let the farmers just grow their own foods.
How are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? And please don't tell me, please don't tell me that we're going to go up there and we're going to raise holy hell.
Now, somebody said, he said, oh, you mean get the feds out of our lives? Or
how are you going to how?
Well, he didn't say that. I did.
Oh, okay.
He's saying let the farmers grow their foods and livestock. All he's saying is what should happen.
How much did the FDA fine an Amish farmer for this past week? $300,000 because he's selling raw milk. All right? Get the FDA out. There are agencies, and we all can identify them, from the alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives, all the way to the USDA, the Department of Education, Department of Labor. I mean, the list goes on and on.
You know what?
On.
You actually just answered your own question. If we can, if, and again, this all starts with us. And
where's it going to go?
Well, this is where this whole fucking podcast went down the tubes the first time, is because I started being honest and saying this all starts and ends with us.
Yeah.
We the people. If we the people start getting more involved in our local stuff then starts branching out into our regional stuff. Regional stuff gets into state stuff. Then if we can actually continue to be an intelligent and involved populace like Ben Franklin wanted us to be, we can then affect change through our state legislature against the federal government.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I sent a video to Ted, and it's from a fellow by the name of the YouTube channel is Viva Fry.
Yeah.
Dave Friedman is a Canadian. He's a transplant. He's actually living in Florida right now on a visa. And his cohort is a fellow by the name of Robert Barnes. Now, Robert was on the original legal team that was helping, who's the kid in Wisconsin? Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle decided to go a different route, and fortunately, he was successful in court. But Robert was one of the 3 attorneys that started out with Kyle. Robert's no idiot. By any stretch. But Robert went on a tirade. What was it, Tuesday, I think? Tuesday? No, Monday. And mentioned North Carolina specifically. We can't even get our own state squared away. Danny, what do you mean? I'll tell you. The population of North Carolina, in a very, very democratic election, constitutionally carried out, determined that we should have voter IDs. Unfortunately, you have a co-equal branch of government called the state Supreme Court that told the legislature and us to shove it up our asses. Now, what are you going to do? All right, you may get this coming. I think there's 2 judges that are up for re-election. One I think is a Democrat, and the other I think is a Republican. But you still got a Democrat majority. Aren't we dealing with this on the federal level as well? And now we're going to deal with a judiciary that decides, no. This is not a government by the people. This is a government by the judiciary. And we have a governor that bends over and says, Daddy, may I please have another? Mm-hmm. We also have a governor that, I could go on.
Well, and that's kind of the point that I was getting at. You
want to get down to brass tacks. I don't know what's going on in Sampson County. I know in Cumberland County, there's only one way that anything's going to change, and that's for Antifa and BLM to light up Fayetteville again. And the sheriff and Fayetteville PD listen to Mayor Colvin. Fortunately, the police chief is retiring because she couldn't find enough Puerto Ricans on her trip down to Puerto Rico to restaff the Fayetteville Police Department. It's the truth. It's the truth. She tried to pick up $4 million to fund non-government organizations in Fayetteville to augment our police department. Can you imagine? Now wait a minute, honey. You don't want to pull that trigger.
Oh, yeah. Danny's definitely on a roll tonight.
My God.
And I'm going to put the brakes on for just a second. Irish, to answer your question, I don't know. He asked, is there enough time to stop the bleed? by doing that, by talking, like I was saying, getting involved locally and all of that. My wife actually came back with a pretty good response. If we do a little and all work together within our locality, small areas, then yes, I believe so. Just look at how fast we got here when we gave power to the loudest voices. Speaking of BLM, Antifa, and other domestic terrorist groups, we gave power to them to disrupt our country. And look at where we are now. And we are here relatively quickly. So, you know, and that's the thing, right? Our society basically collapsed relatively fast because we gave the power to those extreme minorities. And I'm not talking black, brown. I'm talking extreme minority viewpoints that are literally terroristic in nature. And we gave them the power to change our culture. And politics follow culture. That's what happens. So now the politics are catching up with all of that. But here's the one turning point. Okay, here's the one turning point. But here's the deal, Irish. It doesn't matter if we break the law or not. If there are people in power that believe that we are the bad people, then it doesn't matter who is right or wrong. They will protect the ones that they see fit. They are picking the winners and losers. And this is why I keep getting back to us and we the people. I understand there's a lot of us that just want to say, you know, they want to go by the Constitution and say when a government no longer follows or no longer serves the will of the people and has the will of the people's best interest in heart, it is our right and duty to replace said government with one that does. I understand that. I understand that there's tons of people out there that want to do that. Is it feasible?
You'll be dead.
Well, okay. There's many different viewpoints on this. Danny's isn't the only one, but Danny definitely does have a valid viewpoint. A lot of us would die. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
And we're going to be taking care of your widows and orphans.
Would we be able to eventually get the outcome we want? Probably not, because I don't believe that many of us understand what the outcome would be, even if we did, quote unquote, win. For all intents and purposes, America would be destroyed. For all intents and purposes. So my suggestion is that we continue using the system and the form of government that was handed down to us for as long as we possibly can until there is no choice at all anymore. And whether that choice be to go into hiding and sustain yourselves or to raise arms against your government, whatever that choice is, when we no longer have a choice, that's when, you know, you start thinking in those terms. But until that day happens, until that comes down, my suggestion is, just like Danny said, become more self-reliant. Just like Katie was saying in the chat. Learn how to use medical, learn how to use holistic remedies. Definitely learn how to use firearms, and not only firearms, but medieval weapons, bows and arrows, sticks, spears, axes. Start studying Viking culture. No shit. You know, you want to talk about some fucking warriors. Start looking them up and what they used to do. Besides the traveling across country and pillaging and all that shit. I'm talking about
raping, pillaging.
Right. I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about the warrior mentality. Okay. They were self-sufficient. They were self-reliant. And when they ran out of shit, they just stole it from other people. But in any case, the warrior mentality. Become as self-reliant as you possibly can. Spartans is another good one. All of the information, I guess basically what I'm getting at is all of the information that we need is in the history books already. So learn from the people that have already done it. Learn from the people that already are self-sufficient. Learn from people like Katie, who lived in the wilderness of Alaska and had to do everything on her own. Okay, those are the people that we should be turning to in these times. Yes, it's nice to tune into my show and blah, 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 and listen to me rant and rave and Danny rant and rave about what's going on in our politics and what's coming down the pike. But what you should be taking from it is
a reason.
Exactly, a reason.
You've got a motivation.
So what you need to be motivated to do is a few things. Again, probably first and foremost is become more self-reliant. Learn how to grow your own food, as much of it as you can. Learn how to dress wounds. Learn how to save lives, and learn how to take lives. Because you'll need both if the collapse of society actually does happen. You'll need both. Learn how to put holes in people and learn how to plug holes in people. That's basically the bottom line there. But also learn how to feed and sustain yourselves. Okay?
There's going to be a reason why you're going to be put in that position. There's a reason for that. It's because the individuals that didn't prepare are going to come looking, and there's werewolf preppers out there as well that will pick your brains and find out where you're at. Now you're another target.
Yes.
But nonetheless, the individuals, and it's already happened. We watched it. I watched it in the 60s. I grew up in New Jersey. I watched the Newark riots. And we were all scared shitless, and we were a good hour and 15 minutes away from Newark. But we had no idea where this was going to go. We had neighbors that were state police officers. My dad was in local politics. All I'm saying is the reason why they're going to come after you is because you seem to be an easy target. All right, so you prepared. You have a source of water. If you're on a well, where are you going to get power from? All right, I have solar. I have gasoline put back. I have diesel put back. I have more than 3 shovels. I have more than 3 picks. Unfortunately, I only have 1 chainsaw. But I've got... Really quick
on the topic of gasoline. Understand that gasoline has a shelf life of around 6 weeks.
Get a case of Stable.
You're right. Get some Stable and use that and put that in the gasoline, because then it has a much longer shelf life. But if you are prepping right now and you are putting gasoline back in like a 250 gallon, drum or whatever, and you're not using Stable, then make sure you are using and replenishing your supply. Okay, like make sure that you're using it. Don't get too low, but make sure that you are constantly replenishing it. Okay, but get Stable. I just wanted to put that out there because I know of people that are using gasoline as a security blanket, and they don't use anything to stabilize it. And you get the algae buildup, you get the breakdown of the silicones and everything else that's in there, and it's useless. Excuse me. It'll gum up. Yeah, it'll gum up your carburetor, your fuel injectors, and everything else. So I also recommend to keep a can or two of fuel injector or a carburetor cleaner on hand at all times. Number one, carburetor cleaner is a great starting mechanism. But also, just in case you do get bad gas or gas that has water infiltrated or something into it, something like that. But the point is like I would be getting onto prepping groups. I would be getting onto what?
There's more. The first thing is preparing.
Right.
Okay. Take care of yourself. Admit to the fact that you don't know how to do everything.
Right.
I know how to do a lot of stuff. Some of it not very well. Katie knows a whole bunch of stuff.
Katie says you have 4 chainsaws.
I have. Okay, that's right. We do. And we've got 2 trucks. Both of them are shit on the wagon right now. But anyway,
Shield Maiden.
But anyway, Shield Maiden. Oh, I love that. Oh my.
Easy now, easy.
Wear the helmet with the horns. Title to roll. The next thing is the reason why I know who she is because we talk like this. Ted and I talk like this.
Yeah.
There are individuals, hopefully within your area of operation, within half a mile of your house, that think kind of the same way. But they're a mechanic. I'm not. I can't work my way.
That was going to be my next part. Is the communities.
You recruit.
Yeah.
You recruit and you come to understand. You work with one another. You get an idea of this guy is for real, or when it's time for somebody to give me a hand, this guy doesn't show.
And that's also a tough part.
I know some people.
That's also a tough part because, like, you take my wife and I. We are very hard people to deal with. You know why? Because we will give anything to our friends, but we also expect that you're the same type of person. Not that we ever, it's weird how I say that, because it's not like we ever, I mean, you're my friend. Have I ever really asked you for anything? I mean, seriously, have I really ever asked you for anything that would put you out?
What do you have that put me out?
Yeah, that put you out.
I'm of a mindset where Ted calls up, Dan, do you know anybody who's got crimpers for
my PEX light.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me.
Right, but what I'm saying is I'm not one of those leech friends that, like, you know.
No, but I remember a time when you weren't having problems with your legs, and you know, you have physical limitations now that weren't originally there. That doesn't change who you are,
right? And
the attitudinal characteristics that you have.
My point being is that my wife and I are very difficult to deal with because we hold people to higher standards when they're in our friend circle. So what I was going to give you guys advice is this: don't be that picky. Okay? Like, yes, protect. No, hang on. Protect what's yours and protect, you know, your code and your morals. But you don't have to sit there and hold people to such a higher standard that your friend circle is so small that you don't have, like what Iris just said, good force multipliers. Okay? Force multipliers is a real big thing. Like, if you're not a mechanic and you know a mechanic, that mechanic is going to be a force multiplier for you.
Absolutely.
Carpenters,
plumbers, electricians.
If you know somebody that is a phenomenal cook, but you know somebody that can't shoot worth the shit, but you know somebody who can shoot, can't cook worth the shit, you two are a perfect team. You know what I mean? Like, you multiply each other's force. Katie says, "Yeah, be that picky." I guess maybe I was wrong on that. I don't know, but I know that my wife and I have very, 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 very few friends, and it seems like it's dwindling more and more each year. And it's because we find out just how fake some of our friends really are, and it hurts. So then it makes it harder for us to give next time. It makes it harder for us to drop those walls next time. Okay, and that's the hard part, because one of the keys to prepping and surviving what's coming is communities. And if you don't have that strong communal bond with enough people, you're basically doing it on your own. And you have limited all your force multipliers to you know, the fewest number possible, and it becomes very, very tough.
There's going to be preppers out there, and I know they exist in Cumberland County and in Harnett County, that have 3 or 4 100-pound sacks of wheat, and a grinder, which is going to become few and far between. Believe it, it's true. Those are the kind of people you want to get friendly with. There are farmers that sell their produce at farmers markets. Go meet them, because they can show you how to do stuff, provided that you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, starve.
And this is stuff that you can do on your own and with small communities. But now, while you're doing that, you also need to be involved. And I'm going to cut this because we're going well over time here. But,
oh no!
But while you're doing all of this, you also need to be very, very involved in your local and state politics. Yes, federal politics are one thing, and if you know you can be involved in that, not be involved in that. It's up to you. It really is. But your local and state politics, you really should be involved in, and that's where you personally can affect more of a change. But the thing is you got to hold these people accountable to then take your state's power and affect change on a federal level.
Can I ask a question? Mm-hmm. There's a good chance that we're going to have drop boxes again this year.
Here in North Carolina? Because I know certain states have outlawed them already.
No question. I have no question whatsoever, because there are too many individuals that control the wheels. I have every intention of finding a few people in Cumberland County that might be interested in assisting those individuals that are using those drop boxes to make sure nobody else hurts them.
Yeah.
On site.
Yeah. I'm thinking the same thing here in Samson.
And, if you want to use the boxes, fine. I can't ignore 2,000 Mules.
Nope.
D'Souza's film, I mean, it's 500,000 Mules, by the way.
Yeah.
But nonetheless.
And if you have no idea what he's talking about, you really need to go watch the movie. The reason why they use 2,000 Mules is because I'm just going to give you a really quick synopsis. They made the bar so high in order to become a mule to them, right? That it was absolutely staggering. Something to the tune of you had to visit the same box 10 plus times in the same location in order to become a mule. Now, if you lower that down to 3, the number quadruples. And I'm talking in one city, the number quadruples. You understand what the
mules are?
Yeah, mules are people that were paid to take ballots, stacks of ballots, and put them into drop boxes. Okay? So it's completely illegal. It's ballot harvesting, but it's also paid for. These people were literally showing up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning on their 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 20th fucking drop that day and dropping stacks of ballots into the drop boxes.
And they were the video was taken utilizing required government cameras that looked down on those drop boxes, and they tracked those individuals by pinging their cell phones.
Yes.
But that's illegal. You're spying. No.
You can buy the data.
You can buy the data.
Yep.
Because the FBI does.
Hey, Katie, just remember whose account you're on.
What'd she say?
She said, I haven't shot anyone lately.
Anytime, Sweetie, anytime.
And there comes the FBI knocking on your door tonight, right? Yeah. Real quick, we're going to end with this. We're going to end with this.
Brother.
One of the key things to keep an eye on the culture war, because that's what we're in. We're in a culture war. Make no mistake about it. We're fighting for the soul of America. That's not hyperbole. That's the truth. One of the things to keep an eye on is something called swatting. Swatting is when somebody makes a phone call, and we're going to make this really quick, but when somebody makes a phone call, text, whatever, and they sit there and basically say, oh, there's a high threat of a murder, bombing, raping, whatever.
Multiple gunshots.
Yeah, multiple gunshots heard, etc. Something to get a SWAT team out to that location. It's got to be serious, right? Well, they are doing it to their political enemies. Thank you, Saccone. They're doing it to political enemies. Marjorie Taylor Greene just got swatted this morning.
Last night. Wow.
Yeah, last night, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Got swatted. Okay, and it was by a trans activist. Well, how do you know it's a trans activist, Ted?
Because they called
fucking back and said, I don't like her views on trans subjects.
It's my bag.
Trans policies. So they actually ratted on themselves. Now, of course, you don't know who they are because they used a computer generated voice. But the point being is that it's out there. Look at what they're doing to Donald Trump. I don't care if you like him, don't like him, whatever. He had full authority to have those documents. He is just following the precedent that was set down by Clinton, Barack Obama, and
there's legal precedents.
Yes, and tens of presidents before him. And there is legal precedents for him to do what he did. Not only that, but he was in full cooperation with the FBI and NARA during the time of the warrant. This is complete political tyranny. It's complete
a White House
political
denying that they were
terrorists.
in it.
Yes.
Denying it.
Joe Biden for a week said that he had no idea what was going on. He didn't know anything about it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he literally is the one that instigated the investigation, the warrant, and et cetera, et cetera. So he knew everything about it. We are not holding him accountable. We are not holding our elected officials accountable. And if you think because they have an R after their name, they are somehow better than the ones that have a D after their name, you are way behind the curve on what you need to know. The Republicans, the only reason why somebody like me, who is a patriot, a constitutionalist, will vote Republican is because, again, voting Republican, I feel, at least gives me some time to make the moves that I need to make in order to secure the health and well-being of myself, my family, and my friends. And maybe, just maybe, will give us time to save this country. That's a big maybe, but maybe. Because the Republicans are selling us out slower than the Democrats. The Democrats are racing to destroy this country. They are racing, literally racing, to destroy this country.
Why do you think they did what they did before the midterms?
Correct.
It's for everybody to digest it. Digest it and think about it. Merrick Garland said, we're domestic terrorists.
Yes. But the real terrorists are the ones that are using the weight of the FBI and the federal government. Holly, I'm responding to you. The real terrorists are the ones that are using the FBI, the ATF, the DEA, the FDA, the IRS, all of the alphabet fucking soup agencies to come after their political opponents. Those are the real terrorists. Make no mistake about it. So, again, be involved, be intelligent, and for the love of Christ, be self-sufficient, or as self-sufficient as you can be. And I've got something to say. I got to close it out. I got something to say to Bear, because you did. You sent me a video of Bear. You will see people like Bear, who, don't get me wrong, through hard work, has gotten to where he is, which is maybe not comfortable, but a whole lot more comfortable than somebody like me or Danny, okay? Tell you that if you're not buying American, but yet you're waving a Gadsden flag or you're waving an American flag or you're saying that you're a patriot, then shut the fuck up. And I got a message for you. You shut the fuck up. Because those of us that don't have the kind of bank account that you do, buy American when we can, but have to buy Chinese more often than we want to. Okay? Now, granted, we don't like it, but in order to survive right now, that is what we do. So maybe just a little bit more understanding for those of us that don't have what you have. And don't get me wrong, I know the charity work that you do. I've done digging, because once he sent me the video, I wanted to know who I was listening to. You do amazing stuff. You do amazing work. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And far and away, I still listen to what you have to say, and you're still a great dude and a patriot. But watch what you say when you say stuff like that, because it loses you people or pisses people off that you shouldn't be pissing people off, because we're all on the same team. Okay? Some of us don't have the bank account that you do. Just remember that. Because if we all did, we would all love to buy American all the fucking time. But the sad truth is, it costs more than other fucking countries importing their bullshit. So sometimes we gotta, turn our nose and hold our nose and just fucking buy the shit that we don't want to buy. All right,
the major thing that I understand is I broke a tourniquet, not a Cat 7, not one that was made here. I broke a Chinese tourniquet, and
I'm talking like socks, like fucking belts, like ties, like shirts, shit like that. Because he did general stuff, right? Yeah. Like that's what I like. Medical stuff, I agree wholeheartedly. Buy American, it's better fucking quality. Whatever it costs, just get it.
Yeah.
But life saving stuff. But what he was talking about was like just general shit. And again, if we can, we will. You know what I mean? Because we're patriots. That's what we want to do. Mm-hmm. But his exact thing was, if you're buying from Amazon or something like that, generally speaking, if you're buying from Amazon and yet you're sitting there saying, that you're a patriot and rah, 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 shut the fuck up. And it's like, no, you can be both. You can be both. It sucks. We don't want to buy from fucking Amazon, but the sad truth is sometimes we have to. That's all I was getting at. And he definitely has a bigger bank account than somebody like me. So, hey, he can afford to buy American all the time. Good for him. Great for him. Seriously, no sarcasm. That's fucking awesome.
He's running a skid steer with a drivetrain that's cast in freaking Beijing.
Well, that too. Yeah, but you get what I'm saying, right? So
I understand.
There's always going to be hypocrisy in a statement like that. Yes, I would love to buy American 100% of the time. But no matter what, if you're carrying around a goddamn phone, you are supporting somebody else's country.
No question.
Period. If you're talking on this fucking microphone into a computer, you are supporting somebody else's country. Yeah. It's just that fucking simple. So every time that Bear uploads a goddamn video, see, now you got me started. Every time somebody like Bear uploads a fucking video talking about buy American 100% of the time or shut the fuck up, you should just cut your goddamn feed. You should just shut the fuck up yourself, because literally you're talking into a device that's made in a different country. You're putting your airwaves out into the ether that's controlled by other countries, and it just filters down through other countries before it gets to Americans again. So again, stop being hypocrites. Yes, we all should buy American whenever and wherever possible, and as often as possible. But if you have to fucking buy Amazon or Walmart or whatever, then fucking do it. We're still Americans. Period. We're still Americans. We are the free ones. Remember that. We're the ones that are still freer than anybody else. I understand freedom's eroding, but we are the freest ones of anyone else. If you want a fucking Starbucks coffee, then by all means, go buy a Starbucks coffee. It doesn't matter that they're a piece of shit goddamn company that's anti-American. If you want their coffee, buy their fucking coffee. We got bigger problems. Let's not turn into the left, where their biggest problem is what pronoun they're going to call their 4-year-old trans-identifying son. Okay, let's not do that. All right? So, recap. Become as self-sufficient as you possibly can. That includes prepping, medical supplies, food, ammo, weapons, base of operations, your community of like-minded people. Recruit people into your local community of like-minded people. Stay active and intelligent on your local and state politics, and then leverage that, because you've done your hard work there, leverage that into something that's called federalism, which is your state implying its leverage or applying its leverage onto the federal government. And yes, maybe, just maybe, with enough time and enough leverage, we can affect some sort of change. If we can't,
you have a community,
right,
that you've established where,
with skills that you've learned and practiced, that you can now survive.
Train together.
Yes, absolutely. So stay involved, stay intelligent, and by all means, please become more skilled and more invested in your own survival. With that, I want to thank you for being here, Danny. It's always a pleasure. I appreciate you, brother.
It's okay.
God bless everybody. We'll catch you next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. If you did like what you saw tonight, or you just want to support this because, I do this for free, you could send some of that cheap, useless fiat currency my way at $UAP08 on Cash App. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. God bless. Take it easy.